I'm Alex Morash, and let's queer up lesbians and queer women. Renee Good shooting, widow demands SUV return after feds decline probe. The wife of Renee Good is demanding that federal authorities return the 2014 Honda Pilot, the SUV in which Good was fatally shot. She is accusing officials of obstructing a state-level investigation into her death. Becca Good filed a motion seeking access to the vehicle, which has remained sealed since January 7th. The shooting during an immigration protest in Minneapolis. Earlier this year, the Department of Justice declined to investigate the incident. According to the filing, federal authorities have repeatedly ignored requests from both the family and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to release the vehicle and other evidence. Family attorney Antonio Romanucci told NPR News, quote, "The federal government cannot at once declare that it will not investigate the shooting death of Renee Good by a federal agent and at the same time withhold key evidence from those seeking the truth. Pursuing a civil rights investigation would contradict the president's false claims that Renee violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who killed her," end quote. Good was shot by ICE agent Jonathan Ross as she attempted to drive away. Officials claim the officer acted in self-defense. However, video footage repeatedly shows Good turning away before accelerating and crashing into a parked car. Her final words recorded on Ross's phone were, quote, "That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you," end quote. Renee Good is an American hero, and to see this administration continue to protect murderers over good Americans is disgusting. And this is just another example that our federal government has been so perverted, and all it wants to do is now go lash out at us and lash out at the world. I just don't know how this administration can continue, and how on earth they can continue to hide this SUV.
And that's the problem, right? Right now, I'm not even sure if the SUV still exists. For all intents and purposes, the FBI, the federal government could have buried it or wiped away the evidence, cleaned it, crushed it. Who knows? The whole idea that right now they are holding evidence of the shooting, but they're not investigating it. So return it to Minnesota authorities, because Minnesota authorities are interested in pursuing it, but the federal government, using the powers that were given to them by the Constitution and by Supreme Court by Supreme Court rulings, are basically, this is a perversion, like as you said, of the rule of law.
Yeah, I'm sure we're in the Constitution. You have the right to murder people that you disagree with. But Larry, what do you think? You were about to have a comment.
It's not said in this story, but and I'm not certainly defending their actions, but it's not said whether or not they're considering this a murder weapon. However, we all know the truth. We saw it on video, and the facts are what they are. But again, going back to what I said in the prior story, it's really sad tale. When this is our 250th anniversary of our country, and this kind of shit is going on, and it's got to stop. We have to turn the tide, and everybody needs to get out and vote and bring in the right people.
Look, I'm no criminal investigator, but I've watched a lot of SVU. One, it can't be a murder weapon because that car didn't kill anybody. Mm-hmm. One. Two, I hate to say this, but we have enough video from enough different directions and enough AI, and that they can deduce where the bullet came from, all that, without having the car. Having the car there isn't really going to prove, because we already know who shot whom. Mm-hmm. Like we already know that. Mm-hmm. What is having the car going to prove? Yes, the underlying here is the federal government is withholding evidence from a state investigation. Period. Regardless of what or why they are withholding evidence from a state investigation. That is the problem here. I don't care who was killed. I don't care why. We have a federal government withholding evidence from a state investigation. And we really need to start looking at these things. Yes, we've had this conversation before. It's probably compounded by a lot of other things. But the simplistic view is federal government is withholding evidence from a state investigation. Mm-hmm. And why are they doing that?
And the thing is, look, America is very unique because we have basically a remarkably short constitution, by the way. In Britain, there's no constitution. So every law is a constitution. But we rely a lot on basically customary actions of respective branches of the government in order to get the job done. That was basically respect of the Constitution or the principles behind it. Currently, the federal government is not a big fan of principles or traditions. They just use their power. Well, I wasn't going to say that because,
or morals.
I don't want certain government departments to pound on my door, but there are there are the ways that used to do things that are no longer being abided to just because it is not in black letter law. Essentially, it's principles of the law are circumvented just so that that the federal government can run roughshod over.
Well, laws are make believe. They're enforceable when they want to be enforceable.
They're convenient.
Again, they are not investigating this as a federal level. So therefore, the evidence, whatever the evidence is, I don't care if it's bubblegum wrappers or this car, gets released to the people who are. They've been asked through legal channels to release evidence that you are no longer using or prosecuting.
Yes, and I think for viewers to understand, Rex is getting to a point, like, this is an unusually big deal. Like, not to be problematic, but like, even when the IDF is accused of wrongdoing, they do an investigation, and they are accused of lots of wrongdoing, but they still do an investigation.
Correct.
And the fact that the federal government doesn't want to do that is quite shocking. I do want to take 2 seconds just to give Queer News Tonight a good shout out for doing this story, because so many Americans, we kind of forgot of all the ICE protests and the crimes and the concentration camps. And yes, they are concentration camps. Go look at the testimony in the Miami Herald of what people have been saying at Alligator Auschwitz. Like, it is just awful what we're seeing, and we've been forgetting about it because he does so many different crimes at once that it's hard to keep up with it all.
It was a spread. It was deliberate.
Yeah, it is.
Of course.
It's like crime plinko.
Yeah, and it's like bingo. We have a bingo card for everything that has happened. We probably all of us will win a prize by now.
One of the first rules in Machiavelli's The Prince was to do all the bad stuff at once. And Trump kind of took that, said, let's do it all the time. Do everything all the time. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works, because it actually will catch up to you.
I think it's Steve Bannon who coined the term flood the zone. Basically just flood it with news so that everyone is too distracted to remember what's going on. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.